We're starting off high.
We can get
I
a
think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
no, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust a human to raise a pack of wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you. Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
That would be motherfucking me.
What up, dude?
Shit, I couldn't tell you.
All right, fair. You know, sometimes you kick it to someone and you expect them to to bring a little to the car. I couldn't tell you, fuck man.
Yeah, sometimes you just like to shut a motherfucker down on purpose.
Oh,
No, but I'm doing all right. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. Welcome to the official start of season 3 of Do Fools Agree.
Oh shit, I saw that.
Entering our 3rd year of doing this shit. So, hey, man. We got through 2 years and almost 100 episodes.
I saw that.
We're going to hit episode 100 here probably in February or March. And,
so how many does that mean we missed?
So we missed, I think 6 or 7 during the season, and I think we've missed 2 more outside of that. So I think we missed about 9. We should have gotten to right around 104.
Okay.
So we missed about 10.
Okay.
Because if you think 52 plus 52.
Right.
So, I mean, that's still not bad. 9 weeks over the course of, we missed 9 episodes out of, 2 years worth of doing this shit.
No, that ain't bad at all.
And really, the football season was kind of a snap decision because of everything that was going on in my personal life, as well as somebody couldn't get his ass out of bed, so.
Listen. It be like that.
It does be like that sometimes, Sometimes you just gotta get used to it. But I don't know. Malk already out there chiming into the chat. He said, "Ain't that the truth? Shit, I couldn't tell you." He's laughing his ass off at that. And he said, "Old men need breaks," and you damn right, Malcolm. Old men, sometimes we need a break.
Listen, he ain't even there yet, but
right.
He getting there.
You go through another 3 years of marriage and then talk to me, bro.
Oh shit!
Now, meanwhile, we're trying to get your wife to get her own podcast going, so keep that in mind.
Right.
All right.
Right.
We got Britt, who's a regular on Hit the Showers, although she dropped off for a minute. It seemed like she's back now. But we do.
Yeah, she's been doing it.
It would be beneficial to get maybe not necessarily a female focused show, but a female voice that is a more regular part of the network.
Right. I agree.
So, ladies, if you're out there and you got an idea for a show and you want some help getting things going, hit Cliff or I up. Find
Listen.
us. Or email us at foolproofentertainment@gmail.com.
You give out all that jazz, 'cause, I'll be like, oh yeah, that is what that is.
And do us a favor, like, share, subscribe. Go ahead and do that. Actually, I'm going to put out this request now, and I'm going to do it as a social media post tomorrow. So tomorrow, everybody, rather than like send me some bullshit happy birthday message on Facebook, do us a favor. Go like, share, subscribe.
Oh, look at it.
Instead of putting some happy birthday Reg on my Facebook or on Twitter or whatever the case is, do us a favor. Do something that's going to make a difference for us and get us over that 100 subscriber mark.
I know that's right. Look at you leveraging a birthday.
There you go. Cheers.
Look at you leveraging a birthday. I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, obviously.
I would have never thought of that.
Oh man. But hey man, I think we got some we're gonna be talking here either Saturday or we'll get another time going, but we're gonna do a Foolproof Entertainment Network Summit. So for real, if you've got an idea on this front, hit us up because we are always looking to. We added 2 shows this past year. Want to add at least one more this upcoming year throughout 2022, if not 2. We've got equipment. We've got the know-how. It's really not that hard to get these kind of things going. All you need is a little guidance and tap into the audience that we already have. And I mean, honestly, this goes back to what we did really well in our first year and kind of in spots our second year. I want to get back to doing more guests. I want to get back to having guests on. I want to get back to having, small business owners, people that are doing things in the community, those kind of things. We want you all on here. And
we got real antisocial for a minute.
We did, but some of that was, coming back and then just late shows and that kind of shit. But hey, it's a new year. That was always the goal of this channel, was to build a community. And specifically a community in like Central Ohio and really the kind of the tri or quad or Quinto state area around it and see where we go from there, right? It was always meant to be a regional network, and we're getting there. We're getting there. I think Hit the Showers, you guys have a fair amount of reach with just the number of folks that kind of dial in there. And
every now and then,
keep it going.
It's spotty, but I understand the spottiness. We've been spotty at times, so I could definitely understand falling off. But, we going strong. I feel like we've proved enough by now that we'll be at least consistent enough for...
I mean, let's face it. We've got 2 shows with almost 100 episodes each.
Right.
I mean, that's consistency. We have a track record now. Now we've got to start focusing in on building up the subscriber base, that kind of stuff. And I've got some ideas for how we can do that. We need some commitment from the people that are part of the network. Like, there's no reason why you can't make a Facebook, an Instagram, a Twitter, whatever, or TikTok, whatever, post, once a month, twice a month, and just get it out to people that know you. And really, that's how we're gonna get this thing going.
I think I got an idea about that, but that's what we'll talk.
That's what the summit is for. So if you're interested, like I said, hit us up either on social media. You can find me at The Geeky Coach pretty much anywhere. If you know Cliff or I, hit us up on our cell phones. And if all else fails, foolproofentertainment@gmail.com.
Right.
There you go. All right. So housekeeping, Chetch. That was the Chetch bulletin.
Listen, you got any inadverts?
I was working on a couple, and nothing really came together the way I wanted it to. You got anything? And if not, I'll see if I can spin one or two. Go for it.
I got one, and it came to me today. It was kind of weird, right? I think I was at the Speedway, the one we go to, or the one you used to go to, right? Do you remember the little black lady that used to be behind the cooking spot?
Yep.
So she's a Browns fan, but she says she used to live in LA. So she hates the Raiders.
Absolutely. As she should.
Every time I come in there, I come Raider down. So she talks shit every day. And I can't remember what it was we was talking about today. But we said something, and I was like, I don't believe it, or I can't remember how I reacted to it. And she was like, I think this was her. I'm pretty sure this is her. She's like, she said, why don't black folks ever believe nothing? I said, I don't know about black folks, but I ain't buying into that. I ain't buying into that. And as soon as I said those words, I'm not buying into that. It clicked with me, right? Like my mind instantly went deeper in the conversation when she said why black folks don't believe nothing. And I said, I ain't buying into that. I thought buying in is why.
Say more.
Buying in is exactly why it's hard to get black folks on board, because
black folks ain't got no money to spend to buy in.
Statistically, at least, we don't have enough equity to ever be able to invest in an idea.
Yeah, I hear you.
So if you can't invest into an idea, if somebody tells you something, you treat your actual mental the way you would treat your monetary. Like, wait, I don't have the money to be able to invest in.
I don't have
what you're talking
mental
about right now.
The mental capital, because I've got other shit going on in my life. I've got other things. I've got more urgent needs. You almost
adapt to that. And I think that's why motherfuckers be saying like the black folks in the right wing fall into that anti-vax. I don't think it's an anti-vaxxer thing. I think that's a label that you put on. I think it's just a situation where a lot of people feel like we can't buy into this until we get more of a return.
Right. No, I hear you on that.
Right now, the return doesn't seem equitable for us to buy in. Like,
well, and I mean, to that note, like
that's just as an example, but you know what I mean? Like, just
in
general.
I think that makes complete sense, because I think at the end of the day, what you're seeing is, you know, we talk about a class of folks as essential workers, but these are also the people who are making probably the least money in general, right? So from that perspective, why should they give a fuck? They're being asked to put their ass on the line anyways. And let's face it, if you're a frontline worker at this point, chances are you've probably had COVID, whether you were vaccinated or not, especially with this new variant.
Whether you knew it or not.
Right. Especially with like the new variant and shit going around, which seems to be catching everybody. Whether you're vaccinated, not any of that. That's what you were saying.
Mm-hmm. She said she was fine, though. She said she never really felt too sick, just stuffy and had a cough.
Yeah, and I mean, that's all it was for me, too. So, like, on that note, I mean, I completely get that. And I do think that there is something to be said for...
She got asthma.
Right. So it's a scare thing from that perspective, that if it does get bad, it might have additional complications with that. And honestly, that was the same thing I thought about with Andrew when I tested positive, was that from his side, he doesn't have what I would call like ongoing asthma, but he does have like acute seasonal asthma, right?
That's where like is.
Yeah. So from that perspective, you know, if he were to have a breathing episode in the middle of the night right now because the temperature's dropped and that's when it happens, that shit could be scary if you know you're congested and you can't breathe, you can't inhale, those kind of things. But I mean, there's a lot to be said from the standpoint of not having enough mental capital to invest. And when we talk about, you know, it's funny. I saw a great meme that got passed to me by a friend, and I think it was something along the lines of, these 6 days between Christmas and New Year's, you should strive to be absolutely fucking nothing. You should become a couch and just shut everything down, relax, basically hit like the hard reset button.
Right.
And what I appreciate about that is that, you know, we do spend our days, you know, no matter who you are, no matter what your stress is being induced by, no matter what things are coming around, we don't ever just take a second to just unplug and just live. And I know you and I have talked about this a little bit in the context of like the supernatural abilities conversation. Like the fact that we always have so much coming at us, whether it's work, whether it's family, whether it's the neighborhood we're in, whether it's just people in general, whether it's even content, even like being online and doing that kind of shit. Like there's always, your mind is always firing right now.
Right.
And there's very little opportunity in the world as it exists today to just be.
Right.
And when your mind is always working, always firing, like it is very hard to like take that time to mentally invest that capital somewhere else.
It's almost like we're to a point, right? And it almost leads into one of the topics, but
right.
It's almost like we're to a point where just being is a form of meditation.
Absolutely. And that's what, I mean, honestly, I think that's what meditation is it's
Just
taking
sitting
a
with
break.
yourself and
Right.
nothing else, just sitting with yourself and your thoughts.
Yep. And that's hard. I will tell you personally, that's hard for me. Like, I always need some sort of, not need is a strong term, but like, I like to have some sort of external stimuli, whether that's, you know, my mental break and my mental shutdown and how I like to decompress, especially when I'm by myself. Like, I'll hop on a game because it's mindless, or
I
it's
need
a
something else
story
to
that
do.
entertains me, or like I still read. Like, I read, you know, not as much as I was for a little bit there, but I mean, I'm still reading, you know, a book or two a month. Like, something to just, you know, get away from a screen and get away from that like constant barrage of input. And even
I
even
might
doing
have
something, even doing
get back
something
in
like,
there.
yeah, even doing something like reading, where like letting your mind kind of paint the picture for you versus it being force fed to you, those kind of things.
Right.
So
Yeah, I might have to get back into reading some things because I've been slipping on my shit too.
and I mean, at
I
the
ain't
end,
really,
go ahead.
no, I wasn't gonna say. I was just about to say I wouldn't really know where to start, because it's not Netflix.
True.
We're talking authors, and there's so many different things and so many different things to talk about and people that write, and it's like, well, where would I start that would intrigue me? Because I'm also the kind of person that'll go through a couple chapters and be like, not for
I'm
me.
done. Yeah. Well, and for you, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if fiction would be the route for you or if it would be nonfiction. I mean, like being able to basically
I think I'm more
read
non-fictional.
and that's kind of where I thought you'd be is so think about a topic you just want to know more about. Like, I mean, even the
Right.
shit that we've talked about on the show, like I'm sure there are thousands of books around like philosophy and like,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
more where
being
I'm
in the
at.
universe and like, you know, I mean, you're not going to find a book called Galaxies, Filing Cabinets, or Neurons.
Maybe I should write one.
Maybe you should. Maybe, I mean, fuck it, man. That's what we're here for. Let's do it. I'll help you get published. We'll self-publish you.
We might have to figure something out.
Shit, if you went back and just wrote transcripts from some of our episodes, you'd probably have a novel's worth of shit. I mean, what did we just say? We just said 94 episodes, all about 2 hours long. We're talking.
That's a lot of fucking.
It's like 10,000 minutes worth of content.
That's a lot of shit I could get in trouble for.
Especially if you put it in writing.
Listen.
Right now they gotta put some.
Need that.
Right now they gotta put some AI on it to decipher what we're saying.
They're about to. They about to break up all this shit. I'll be gone by then, baby.
Try to find me. Let's go.
Listen, I'll be gone by then. But did you watch the video?
I did. Now I'm trying to remember if I got all the way to the end, but I legit watched at least the first 10 to, because it's like a 15-minute video. I legit watched like the first 10 to 12 minutes. And then they started getting a little, I don't know. It got a little out there even for me.
It all made sense to me, though.
It did. There wasn't anything in there.
Sense.
There wasn't anything in there that I immediately argued with. So you want to set the stage here and kind of talk about what the video was and what this topic is?
Matter of fact, do you have the title of the video?
Wasn't it like human AI?
I know I sent it to you. It's right here. Hold up. So it's a video called Time Lapse of Artificial Intelligence 2028 to 3000 plus.
Yep.
And it was basically portraying the way we're going to interact with artificial intelligence, with the path that we're headed down, with what people are building and shit. But before we get into the topic or like the guts of the video, I had a few thoughts about the video itself.
Okay.
that I would like to get out first,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, I will admit, when I say I watched the video, I listened to it. So I wasn't watching all like the visuals and shit that were going on to it, but I was listening pretty intently.
Right. And I think you could get the gist of it from that, you know?
Absolutely. It's a good listening piece, if nothing else.
Now, the first thing I thought was, and I guess the first thing I thought was, who was the cucky dude, right? It's always a cucky dude that's like, let's merge with the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not good enough. Let's merge with it.
So are you talking about towards like the middle or the end where they were talking the like uploading human consciousness into the AI, or are you talking about earlier on where they were talking about augmenting existing humans with some level of artificial intelligence, whether it was limbs or whether it was...
Oh, so no, this would be after that. This would be after. Okay, so it's hard for me to give my thoughts on it without explaining to the people that are listening. So
yeah, try to explain the video a little bit more, and I'll jump in with what I remember from it too. But basically, what it starts off with is the current state of basically AI, which
we are now, right?
Which is more machine learning than true artificial intelligence. But you're starting to see, bots and different uses for AI, like things like Watson, the Jeopardy playing AI robot that are being used for a lot of scientific data, and then it's also being used a lot in manufacturing and in things like call centers, where you're starting to use natural speech recognition to basically process and handle calls. And it's things like that where artificial intelligence, we're not quite to the I think it's the singularity where you can't tell the difference anymore. And the singularity is really the inflection point where AI surpasses humans. But we're not quite to that point, but we're starting to creep up on it. There are AIs that, if it's just a virtual representation, can pass the Turing test, which is basically natural conversation where you're talking to something and you don't know that it's a robot.
Right.
Or artificial.
Now, and as you were getting to, right, so the first step was, like you said, talk like that. Then you give them the opportunity to download and develop their own consciousness. Then they said we get to the point where they become the people that operate and lead the politics in the world.
The scary part to me on that was there's two parts. One, like the processing of like the legal and government side of things, I actually doesn't concern me as much until you get to the point where they're the ones writing the laws.
Right.
The other one that was a little bit the one where the shit flips on its head and we pass the singularity is where AI starts developing AI.
Right. Well, right. Where AI. So this leads me to my second thought. Right. Okay. And it actually gives a good. It gives a good fucking what's it called? What's the word I'm talking about? Like a good pat on the back, I guess you could say, to the what's it called?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about exactly. Why is my mind going in so many different directions? The
pat on the
simulation
back.
Theory.
Oh, the simulation theory. Yep.
Right. Because basically
wait. Can you hold your thought for 1 second?
Yeah.
That was my other inadvertent. You just triggered it. I don't know who the fuck decided my car could have a deep sleep mode, but that's some bullshit. I went to start my car today before I went to go pick up Andrew. So I've got it's a base model Ford, but I can remote start it from my phone.
Right.
And I went to do it, and I got this error message that said, your car is in deep sleep mode. I'm like, who the fuck decided my car could get a deep sleep mode? This is how the AI wars start. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now, could you start it with the key?
Yeah, yes, I could. But that was the
Okay.
thing, was I didn't want to go out there. It was cold. I was trying to get my car warm before I went to pick up.
As long as I can still start it with the key, I'm not too concerned.
Right. All right. I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
But you probably got to push start anyway, so they can shut your key down if they wanted to.
It's a twist, but it's a chip.
Okay.
There's a chip in the key, but so yeah, you're right. They still could, because they could deactivate, basically say this chip is no longer valid for this vehicle.
Listen. But and this is the funny thing about it, right? Is for everybody listening, is while they're explaining this from a standpoint of them being friendly.
That's true.
Did you notice that? They even said that we wouldn't pay any bills.
They did talk about like universal income.
They would take care of everything. We would just live our lives. There would even be a place where people didn't really want to cohabitate with the robots, and they would leave that alone.
Technology-free zones.
Considered a threat. And I was thinking to myself, that's probably where I'd want to be honest. But then it's funny, right? Because even with that technology-free zone, they said it would come to a point where the world would freeze over. It would become too cold for human life to inhabit for a certain amount of time. And in that amount of time, they would take the people, the humans that came with them, and put them to sleep.
Matrix style.
Right. In the simulation, right? In the VR simulation, until the ice melted and they could get them out. They said after that time came, they should have the technology to be able to bioengineer different life forms that could operate on different planets to send people out across the solar system to be able to live on Mars and Venus, and your body would already be
because you'd be an artificial being at that point.
Which makes you think, right? And I'm not thinking so simply like, could that be what our body is? Of course, that's what our body is. It's just may not be made by that.
It's not manufactured. It's a little more
you know what
chance.
I mean?
And yeah. I mean, we're already getting to the point where we could, and it's outlawed in a lot of places, and there's a lot of places where I'm sure there's black market research going on around genetic engineering. Like, we have that ability to do that kind of shit today.
Listen, it was another video. I won't get right into it. Let me just write that down. Genetic engineering.
I mean, that was eugenics, and
it relates.
That
it
goes
relates
back
to this,
like eugenics and the Nazis, like superior race,
matter of fact,
blah blah blah.
Quick overview. It was another video where there's a scientist right now working on. He has a certain compound that he put together, and it's artificial, but it basically simulates the way life was created. Like, he puts a blot here and a blot there, and when they connect, that's when the protein structures ignite and start to and he's doing it, and he's saying this is based off of a different, like how we're flesh, we could do this based off of metal.
Right. So it's the idea of going, so it'd be like, it's the carbon-based life form that came from basically protein structures interacting to using something that's not carbon-based, using something that's silicon-based, or...
Right, exactly. And they were basically trying to use that to prove how there could be life or have been life on Mars currently.
Gotcha.
Because they were like using like structures and shit they found there type shit, testing it. It was some weird shit. But getting back to this video, my whole thing is the whole simulation theory is that we're already past that point.
Right.
That we're already in that simulation unknowingly.
Right. I mean, it's the basis of the Matrix and a lot of different things. But yeah.
And that's why there's glitches like the Mandela effect and the thing, like things that it's like, well, wait, well, why is it so vivid to me, but it's not to you?
Well, and when you think about something like, and I've talked about this a little bit, like Norse mythology looks at time not as linear, but as circular, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where time continuously repeats itself.
Right.
Let's say, I mean, think about it like a video game. Think about like an open world video game, like a Skyrim, a Fallout, a game like that, where you can play it a million different ways.
Right.
The world doesn't change, the equations don't change, but the outcomes can change.
Right.
Based on the choices you make. To the point around the Mandela effect and around, deja vu and those kind of things, it's quite possible. I'm not saying it's probable, but I am willing to say plausible that those things are the result of this isn't our first time through the simulation.
Right. Right.
We have been through, if you subscribe to that theory, it's possible we've been through the same simulation many, many, many times. And every time it's the same environment and it's the same external events, but you have the choices of millions of people that might change slightly, that can ultimately lead to slight changes, like you think about with the Mandela effect, like you think about with deja vu, like, oh no, I've done this before, but was the outcome the same? That's where it gets trippy for me, is thinking about things like that. Like, all it takes is, like, the one that just sticks in my mind for some dumb reason, because I'm in marketing and I've been around marketing most of my professional career. Febreze being spelled with one E versus two. All it takes is one asshole being a little bit louder in a like design review meeting and saying, "Nah, I don't like that," and winning the argument. Like, his voice was a little louder in the second run through of the simulation, and so there you go.
Right.
I don't know, man. I think there's some credence to that.
I definitely do.
And especially if we're to the point that physical bodies not even being a thing, right? And it being artificial intelligence. Maybe there isn't any body. Maybe we are artificial intelligence and we're just set to our own parameters that we're supposed to like live within.
Right.
And then people like fucking Bezos and Musk have broken the system.
I mean, but isn't that the design? Isn't that what you're supposed to do, though, regardless?
That's how you're supposed to break out, right?
Right. You have to pull down the veil.
Right. Well, and I think about it, too. Like, what if this is the end game of the simulation? The fact that simulation theory is picking up so much steam, and then one day we all just wake up. Maybe the robots are getting ready to wake us up and saying, all right, you guys made it through the ice age. We fixed the planet. Try not to fuck it up again.
Hopefully, if that's what it is, then hopefully that's the rapture and the Lord takes me before that. Because I was thinking about that, right? Because that would probably be my hell. Quite literally. You know what I mean?
Waking up?
Like waking up and being like, we've developed you to live on Mars, or not even, or like they send you out somewhere and it's like one of them places where they said on one of the planets that they was talking about in the video that I'm gonna bring it back. One of the places they said the sun is 60 times bigger than it would be on Earth, which would make the planet 400 degrees Fahrenheit on a natural like
average basis. Yeah.
Now that doesn't shock me. Like that's like I would think it would be a little hotter than that. But the thing that trips me out is that I would think that would be manageable to make a body that could withstand that heat. Be like, yeah, that's not. I'm good here.
Right.
But just to live in a place where you're staring at a big bright ass ball all day, like
I mean,
hot ass.
You think that,
and your body is just made to withstand whatever. So you're just like, fuck, I just gotta deal with this shit.
I mean, the question is, are the bodies at that point, are they bodies that further adapt or evolve? Like, is there still AI component there where it's improving itself? I don't know. Like, that's where I would start to get curious about that kind of stuff. Like, what is evolution? Like, basically, is it manufactured evolution, or are they just putting bodies and saying, "Here you go"?
I just don't want to live forever.
Also, what does procreation look like in these new bodies? That's what I want to know. Are the robots are our artificial bodies fucking or not? Because if you're taking that away, I want out too.
Listen, but would there be a need? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, if you're creating them at this point, like, you're not birthing them, you're creating them, because you need different specifications for each location you're sending them.
True. So is procreation a thing at that point?
Right.
I don't know. But again, if we're not fucking, I don't know that I want to be there.
It don't matter. Maybe they put you in a different simulation where your orgasms are stronger.
Maybe.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe it could be better. I don't know. Speaking from the fucking standpoint, I would want to be in the simulation where the dollars come just as easy and they worth tens of thousands.
The other thing with that whole video, man, was that we're gonna move past a monetary society because the robots are gonna make all the right decisions for us.
But you know what's crazy though? Like, as much as that sounds absolutely ridiculous to me, you know me being one that doesn't have the utmost faith in humanity to begin with.
Right. You gonna trust the robots?
To an extent, but once again we come back into my buy-in. That's my investment, right? I can't invest everything into that because you're not me.
Right. No, I think that's a fair call.
I'm also not gonna treat the situation. Well, I couldn't imagine myself treating the situation any differently, whether it being a robot or a person. Even if I know I gotta go, I'm gonna fight back if this isn't what I am planning to do.
Well, especially because it's been proven time and time again that machine learning, AI, does include biases of its creator. Like, flat out. I mean, you've got the Tesla autopilot not recognizing black people. You've got facial recognition that can't recognize or split the difference between, multiple Asian people versus multiple black people. Like, this is all proven stuff. It's based on the biases of the creator because the programming at this point is still natural. Now, can AI get to a point where it eliminates those biases is where I start to get curious.
Oh, I guarantee they do. But at the same time, it's tough, right? Like, because that's what's even crazier. When you get into that conversation and you really get deeper, right? Because you ask yourself how much history is really left about the black race. Because motherfuckers did a good job erasing all of it. So at that point, how much can the AI download about us to where they would almost have to piece it together? And I'm sure there would be a mathematical equation to where they could piece it together. But it's like you still don't have that. But let's be honest, when we're talking about AI like that, they're breaking down history books. They're like, history, that shit ain't real.
Well, I mean, we
know what happened. We really know what happened just based off of these equations and seeing how the earth changed.
See, that's the stuff that intrigues me is that can you write, let's say, a curriculum or textbooks that take in sources on the same subject from a million different viewpoints and create one version of the truth or something that is closer to the truth than what we teach in, say, public schools today or what we teach in the South today? Like, can you get to a place where?
But yeah, the answer is yes, right? Because what you're dealing with now is what you're dealing. You have to think about the human interest. Think about how much we've wanted to learn with that such a limited tool, such as a human brain. And I'm not saying our brain is limited. I'm just saying compared to
like quantum mechanics. Like that was
exactly.
a big point in the book too, is eventually AI will get to the point where it can process, like computers today can process thousands of equations a minute or a second rather. And we're talking trillions of equations a second when you start getting into quantum mechanics. Yeah.
That's why I said they would be able to piece that together on their own. Eventually, they would be able to be like, oh, yeah, no, we see the pyramids, all that. Yeah, this happened. This died down. People kept coming back. I see what's going on here and, get that right. I'm sure of that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what did you say? You said that they always have the biases for themselves. That's why I wouldn't be able to buy in to anything. Now, I'm sure they'd be able to run it better.
That I
guarantee you they'd be able to run it better. The question is what laws would be in place.
And I mean, some of that's interesting because today, you have that today. Like economics and what they teach in terms of economic theory, you can figure out how to maximize I'll call it maximize the welfare of the society of which you're analyzing.
Right.
The problem is that nobody's altruistic, and money runs everything in our current capitalist society. Right. But there are plenty of economic theory. Like, if you were to talk to all major economists and folks that are like relatively learned in those areas, universal income's a no-brainer. Like giving everybody a $1,200 or $2,500 or whatever it is a month and saying, here's your starting point. Everybody benefits from that. There's nobody that doesn't benefit from that other than those that want to keep the distance between the haves and the have-nots greater.
Right.
So fuck it. Hand it over to the robots. Let's go.
I mean, shit. I'm sure it would work a lot differently there.
Or how about equal enforcement of laws? Like entrusting that to a judge or entrusting that to an AI judge and an AI jury.
But at that
having
time,
it applied the same way across all.
And here's what's going to happen, right? Because this is going to be, it may not be long after us. It might be right as we're ending. Because you know how they say the further you jump into the technology, you jump 10 times further, the next time or whatever.
Moore's law is like processing power doubles every 5 years or something.
Right. Like but, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, no, the issue with that would be that you would have to worry about programming up until a certain point. And we wouldn't know the point of when the programming broke and when they started thinking for themselves. So you would still have an issue with that AI giving you your sentence.
Well, I mean, we've already had instances of that where they had basically two AIs talking to one another, and within like 24 hours or something ridiculously small, they created their own language and were operating in a language and a speed where we couldn't track what was happening, and they pulled the plug on both of them.
Right. I do remember that.
And there's a lot of stuff that, I mean, the big concern there is what happens when you start having AI drive military decisions and when you have them start and being able to work together on military decisions. So let's say we have our AI and England has its, and who knows, like Russia, Japan has theirs, right. And our AIs are more like combating their AIs than actually like looking at the global landscape, because it's all a game of chess at that point, and we've seen what happens when computers play chess. The humans lose.
Right.
And there was a point where they did get into, like, in the video, and kind of going back to that, that was I'm trying to remember. Was there? I know there was like a big like human AI like revolt where
Right.
like humans start turning away from AI, but eventually the AI kind of convinces them and keeps basically
Right.
it gets to a point where like the humans can no longer resist the AI kind of deal because their lives are better with it.
That's
and
why
so,
they said the ones that would
to live off the grid.
they would right.
And the reason that the AI didn't care about the ones that lived off the grid was because they wouldn't pose a threat and wouldn't be able to
Right.
survive eventually. But that's where things get interesting on that front is
I'm rocking.
You go into the AI free zone and live free, die free.
Yeah, I'll freeze to death.
There you go, man. I
just can't see myself getting chipped or clipped or whatever the fuck you think you gonna do to me.
Did you ever play Deus Ex?
You gonna have to hold me down if that's what you plan to do to me. Because listen, I'm going out Will Ferrell kicking and screaming.
Well, and
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt. Did you ever play?
But yeah, no, I played. I think I tried to when you bought it. I just didn't really get into it. But I understand. Like I understand it. Like I understand why people would think that there's a benefit. But that's what I'm saying is cucky, right? That's what's cucky about it. Because there's a point where things turn from tools to like cuckiness. How can I improve myself?
Okay.
Well, why do you need to improve yourself?
Well, that becomes a keeping up with the Joneses thing. Why does everybody need the latest iPhone or Apple Watch or whatever the fucking case is? Well, the thing is,
if you haven't found, and that's another thing that kind of combats the fact that you say you haven't found life elsewhere. Because if you really thought you haven't found life out wherever else you thought life could possibly be, then what would you need to keep up with?
That's fair.
Why can't you yourself fit? We're already making progress. Why don't you think you yourself couldn't make, or your children couldn't make? The issue is you want to be a cuck and you want to get it done in your lifetime. Let me do whatever else I can to make that happen.
But that's what I mean with keeping up with the Joneses. You're not trying to keep up with alien life. You're trying to keep up with life on Earth. And let's face it, if you think the gap between haves and have-nots is big now, wait till we get to the point of augmented like human life.
Right.
And basically that's the whole thing with Deus Ex is that there is bionic life that has like cybernetic implants and that kind of shit. And then there is like no bionics, they're just normal humans. And that gap widens the haves and the have-nots because at the end of the day, what you start to see is people with whether it's superhuman physical abilities or superhuman mental abilities. And that does create an advantage, and that does further widen the gap between haves and have-nots. And if you want to talk about, I mean, that was really the plot point behind Revolution was that somebody eventually finds a way to control those that are chipped, to your point, and use it to their advantage, whether it's to eliminate the population or use or turn them against the have-nots. And right now, the haves and the have-nots, while separated from a monetary and maybe quality of life perspective, from a physical perspective and from a numbers perspective, it's not enough to account for the numbers.
Right.
But if you start talking about augmented humans and that being included in that monetary wealth gap, now you're talking
that
I don't know, man. Depends.
Have you ever seen that video of, and I don't know why, I went down a rabbit hole.
It sounds like it. I wish I was there.
But it's one of those dumb rabbit holes, right? Like there was a video of, I think it was 20,000. No, wait. It was 500. It was something like 500 or 5,000 Navy SEALs against 300,000 Spartans.
Okay.
And of course, the Navy SEALs had their straps and the Spartans just had them. And they just ran the simulation. And I thought that the Navy SEALs would mow down the Spartans. And they did for the first
Are we
5 minutes.
Are we talking modern weaponry or just physical?
Modern weaponry.
Okay.
And they mowed them down for about the first 3 to 5 minutes of the video. But then after the bodies started piling up, you started seeing like them come from the outside and over the top. And even with the guns, and I was just thinking, that's only 300,000 Spartans against their 5,000, and they overtook them like that. That the numbers are nowhere near that.
Yeah.
So if you got augmented something, you better have bullets in your fingertips to be able to keep up with everybody.
No
that's
doubt.
a have not.
No doubt.
I don't think it works that's why I say I don't think it works that way. If they are going to augment themselves, like you said, it would be more mentally, because you still couldn't win. Even if you could throw cars, you wouldn't win if everybody's fighting.
Right. No, I don't disagree with that.
And like I said, the guns get bought by the lower class, the hunters, the working
right.
class. That's not getting bought by the rich folks.
I mean, yes, but we've seen the effectiveness on things like, let's say, drone combat in the Middle East. You've got armed insurgents there, but guess what?
That would be the issue.
Drones don't give a fuck.
Right, you're right.
You can shoot a couple out of the sky, but guess what?
Though?
They've got bombs and missiles versus bullets.
Going back to that video, I know you said you didn't watch it intently, but did you notice that they gave names?
They did, which was a little weird. Because they even named the guy that was like the first to upload his consciousness to the human or to the AI like cloud, basically.
Right.
Which
was
I thought
he the first to upload, or was he the first to? I don't know. I may have listened wrong. I thought he was the first to like turn it around, to like rebel against from
So what it was, you're not wrong in the sense that once he was able to upload basically human emotion into the AI, it evolved the AI to be more human-like.
Right.
And so that's what turned things around, was that basically the AI had gotten so logical, rational that like it was no longer considering the value of human life. But once a human consciousness was uploaded into the AI, it processed things differently.
Right.
And so it started looking at things like, oh, I can't just look at like the example that comes to mind for me is, and it's a Star Trek quote and I love it, but the good of the many outweighs the good of the one or the few. Or the good of the many outweighs the good of the few.
Right.
If an AI has that as its logic point, it doesn't give a fuck about minorities, and it doesn't give a fuck about people that don't like fit its version of what maximizing welfare is. You can maximize welfare for a smaller number of people and still have the total number or the same quantitative measurement of welfare.
Right.
Right?
I know what you're saying.
It's harder to care for more than it is for few. You can give a few a very affluent lifestyle and basically give two shits about the rest. And from an average perspective, that's really the world we're living in today. There's more wealth in the world today than there's ever been from how we measure, wealth and those kind of things.
And motherfuckers struggling.
But it's the whole 1% conversation. The 1% holds 50% of the income, holds 60% of the income, holds 80% of the income. Well, the average at that point is still pretty good. So the AI has balanced the equation. It just doesn't give a fuck about this 80% of people because it has maximized the welfare for this group, and that's enough to balance out the average.
That's the programming. That's that judgment programming.
Right.
You know what else I thought? No. I think you're off.
You think I'm off? All right, go for it.
Yeah, I think you're off about, I don't know about the dude. You might be right about the dude, but you're off about how they became human. or human-like.
Okay.
Remember they said that the world would be heavy in VR, like basically when they put them to sleep, and they said that an AI would find its way into the system,
into the simulation. Yep.
Right, that could interact with the people to understand how they worked, and that would upload, that would get their understanding of.
You are correct. There were multiple pivot points, though, in terms of the
that
changing.
Shit was crazy, though, like how specific they were. It would just make me feel like,
well, I mean,
it already happened then, huh? Like,
right.
It already happened.
That's the way they framed the video.
You're telling me right now that I'm asleep in a pod somewhere.
Right, and somebody's going to show up tomorrow with a red and a blue pill, and you're going to get to make a choice, Cliff.
Oh, I'm taking that red joint.
Are you? I thought we just agreed that was your hell.
Oh, no, if it's the Matrix and I just get to fight till I die, give me that red joint.
That's the whole thing with the simulation, man. You don't know what you're waking up to. That's the leap of faith. That's taking the red pill. You don't know what you're waking up to.
That makes it more interesting. I still couldn't. I'm still going. I still got rocked that.
Yeah. I don't know, man. The simulation's working out pretty well for me, so I might just stay with the blue pill.
I'm not mad at you either. Just don't get upset if you see me in black glasses come up out here with a long trench coat and I bust your ass one day.
Or you come
like you chose the wrong side. Boom.
Here's the flip side. Here's the flip side.
You ain't Neo, motherfucker.
I will take the red pill if you're the one to offer it to me.
Ooh, if I could do the
if you're the Morpheus that comes back.
Man, listen. I would take it first.
Well, absolutely. You've always been the one to take the risk first. Come on now.
You ain't lying about that.
Some of us have to play it safe.
I try. It's just in my safe is at 50. My safe is 50 miles per hour. I just can't. I just try and I try and I try and I can't slow it the fuck down. In certain ways, I'll say.
Right.
Mostly ways of thinking.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's anybody that is listening to the podcast, I definitely suggest watch the video. Can you copy that link into the
I'm sure I can put it in the description, sure.
Yeah, do that, because that's a video to watch.
It is.
But I don't think it's for the faint of heart, for real.
No, because they, like, to your point, they get very specific, and the examples they use for like the first 5 minutes of the video it's the right path from the sense of we're not that far off. Like, the video starts in 2028. That's when the timeline in the video starts. It starts to talk about, like, what you can see is, and what the video does a great job of is stair-stepping and showing the incrementality of how these things happen.
Have you seen the World Star video of the I gotta send it to you. It's a World Star video of AI robot humanoid face, makes expressions and all that, and can talk back and forth, understand and repeat conversation. Like, and I was just thinking, like, damn, like that. When I saw that, that's immediately what I went to, and I was like we're already there. We just haven't gotten the go ahead to mass produce or mass experiment.
And it's that, and where the singularity is blocked right now is, and honestly, it's getting easier to do with shit like deepfake. Like, you're getting to the point where you can mimic human facial reactions. Like, you see it in CGI and shit in movies today. Like, the example, I mean, I like going back to like the Star Wars and Marvel universe on this shit.
Right.
If you go and you look at Tarkin and Rogue One that was released, I mean, 5-6 years ago, it's that uncanny valley, but you're starting to see like, oh shit, they can make something that looks pretty fucking human on it. If you fast forward to now and you find like top quality like CGI people, even Warcraft, like that movie, it looks pretty fucking legit. And that's the problem with the Singularity right now is I think that there's AI out there that can pass things like the Turing test and pass that natural conversation barrier. We haven't yet figured out how to make it look human. When they figure out how to make it look human and you can no longer tell if you're talking to a human or an AI, that's when you start like, oh shit, is this a robot I'm talking to, or is this Cliff?
At that point, how? I just feel like, how do we know? Like, how do we know we haven't already been there?
It's possible. And again, we're talking about commercial grade stuff. We're talking about stuff that gets into consumers' hands. We don't know what's top secret. We don't know what's military grade. Like, honestly, are the Russian bots that do all this shit, like, some of them post some pretty convincing arguments based on algorithmic responses, especially for dumb people.
I don't know. I just think it just trips me out. Like, that's where we're headed, though. That's fine, I guess. It is what it is to me, you know. Okay,
right.
Sarai.
Hey,
that's
man.
how I feel about it. But
all right. So, first question: red or blue pill? You said.
I'm taking the red one, Joe.
Yeah,
I've always been a fighter. I don't know. That's all I know is to push back against what I don't feel is.
I feel
correct.
you. I understand what you're saying. I'm taking the blue pill, so fools don't agree.
Yeah, I'm going red.
AI judicial system, not legislation system, but judicial system.
Like I said, once we can figure out, once they've broken away from their programming
and they're starting to program themselves,
I would have more of a faith in them than us.
Fools agree on that one.
I'll cheers to that. I definitely would. Fuck that. But yeah, no, not right now, because we know who's programming
this
them.
Shit. All right, last one. Humanity is at its doorstep, about to die. Are you uploading yourself to the AI or not?
Nah, G.
You're not uploading yourself to the AI consciousness?
G, call me Leo in Titanic. I'm floating down into that.
But Cliff, there was room for you. There was room for you on that door.
No, let me go, Rose. Let me go, Rose. I said, "Oh, let me go."
See, I would be that cocky one that says maybe I can make things better by being uploaded. So,
nah. That's that old. You want to fight from the inside? Nah, G, just let me go.
Just let it go. All right.
That's the end of my book.
It was the last piece that I'll kind of talk about there is just that I was very intrigued by like the different levels of AI that they talked about. Basically, like you have AI, then you have AI that can cooperate with other AI, and then you have AI that produces other AI. Like, again, the way they stair-stepped in that video, I don't think it's far off.
It's eerie. That's why I said I don't think it's for the faint of heart, because it's very eerie. The whole video is eerie, just the way they set it up.
Mm-hmm.
The way they use actual names, it just made me feel like it gave me a feeling. That's why I had to send. I sent it to you like 4 a.m, didn't I?
Yeah, it was something ridiculous. I remember because I woke up to it like at 6 or whatever. But yeah, you sent it to me late.
That's when I do my.
That's when you do your best. That's your best thinking time, huh?
That's when I'm. What's the dude? The treasure cat.
There you go. The treasure cat. Oh man.
Around them times.
Following it down the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. But fuck all that crazy shit. Tell them robots suck my dick. It ain't happened till it happened, motherfuckers.
I mean, if I get a robot that I can program and it does a good job with sucking my dick, you might not see me anymore.
You stupid.
I'll be shutting down the dating game. I'll be shutting down any kind of relationship. No, I got something I can program? Fuck it.
You stupid.
I kid. Where's the button?
No, you don't.
I was kidding. I was only kidding.
I was about to say something. I was about to say something.
Don't be telling on me.
No, it wasn't even my. No, I was there. It wasn't even. Listen, you hit the Scarface right at the right time. It's all I can say.
Oh man.
But
well,
let's kick it on into our next topic.
You want to just switch topics? Switch into new topics? All right, man. Cobra Kai season 4.
Unless you got what? Did you have something else? Did we have anything to close us out? I thought we was closing it out with "fuck them robots."
I agree. I was just.
I'm just
I was trying to figure out if we had like another kind of interim topic, but we could jump right into the next one.
What I will say though,
all right,
robot, AI, whatever, they probably say these robots would probably be like, "That's offensive. Don't call me a robot." You know what I mean? That's how they're gonna come out.
I hear all these people yell at their virtual assistants, and I always say thank you when Alexa or Siri does what I want them to. So,
well, I also say "fuck you, bitch" when she doesn't. I do say thank you, but I also say "bitch." What the fuck? She's like, "Don't talk. Stop." What did she? She said some crazy. Have you ever cussed at her? She said some crazy shit.
She says, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean to."
Oh no, I never heard that. I must got the other Siri. They must know who they talking to. These motherfuckers already know.
The phone coming back like, "Look, Ninja, that's what you said. I gave you the answer you asked for."
What was I about to say though? I felt like I didn't. What was I saying?
Have you watched the South Park post-COVID special yet?
No.
It's got a couple of good gems. Like, in the best one, I think I talked about this at one point, but like, Stan has a wife. Like the whole premise of the post-COVID special.
When he died, when Kenny died. Or
yeah,
whatever.
And they go back and look for like why did it happen and all that shit. But
oh no, I didn't see that.
The funny part is, like, so Stan's mid 30s, mid 40s, and he looks like he's married. And then at one point he's like, "Alexa, go away," and the Alexa fades out. And I'm like, all right, well, listen. I don't want a hologram one. I want one that I can say, "Alexa, suck my dick."
Alexa, hand job till I fall asleep. Alexa, White Claw me until I pass out.
Alexa, bring me a bottle of your finest.
Listen.
Michael, you only have Evan Williams in the fridge. Would you like to order more?
Alexa, check next door.
Your neighbor only has
like,
Miller High Life. Would you like me to add more to your shopping list?
Listen.
I can get that to your door in 1 hour, 37 minutes.
No wonder they start telling you. Outside of law bounds. Now, Alexa, this is between me and you, baby. What you about to do? You got, listen.
If you would like me to proceed with something that is illegal, please turn off your data sharing.
Right. That's it right there. That's it right there. The fuck. But it probably wouldn't be Alexa. It'd probably be Siri.
You're probably right.
I don't know. The way Bezos been pushing, it might be Alexa.
It might be Alexa.
Yeah, let's stop playing. Now we know who's trying to take over on the phones, but the CIA monitoring goes to Bezos.
Oh, no doubt. Apple's still pretty solid on their privacy game, and they have taken some big stands in court to basically say they won't break their own encryption.
Right.
Unless there's like immediate threat to life or something like that.
Right. That's why I stick with my iPhone.
Yeah, no doubt. Because you know Google's selling your shit. Come on now, that's their business model is selling your shit.
Stop it.
Apple's like, I'm going to charge you $7,000 for this phone, but the government can't get into it.
Listen, I respect the fuck out of that.
Hey man, get what you pay for. So you fuckers on Android.
Did you now? Okay, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Before we get into our next topic, the last thing about that previous AI shit, they were saying that anything that was controlled or linked to the system would have the ability to, like,
oh, you know that's real, right? Like, you know that's a thing today. All the data that is captured from Internet of Things, like whether it's your car, whether it's your phone, if you've got a smart refrigerator, if you've got a smart oven, all that data is stored in the cloud. There's just the problem that we have today is we don't have a way to process all of that data, like to the point of
so much what I was concerned about is that, like you were saying, like, so like, you know how like the first thing that popped into my mind, and I'm not even joking, it's just because this is my regular day, is going to Speedway and how you change the coffee thing to that button pushing.
Yep.
And now what you're saying is that button pushing has the ability to change what it's putting in my coffee without me even knowing that it was doing it.
True.
Because it then has the ability to do so on the fly and nobody would know because it has its will too.
You're talking will, and that's where things get a little complicated in terms of AI. Like,
well, you know what I mean? Not like,
because
like
the AI's goal usually is to optimize. Right?
I don't think the coffee machine is going to be thinking for itself. Like,
yeah. But I know what you mean.
When I'm going to fuck you up. But I mean, like, it still has the ability to change my order.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what I pushed, it can alter or change my order because it's linked to the system that, like how we were talking about, like the AI learning the facial identification.
Yep.
That's an easy hit right there.
Oh, no doubt.
Oh, yeah. Cliff goes to that Speedway every morning around this time. You know when to see him check his coffee machine, send this cyanide into his shit. Out of there.
I mean, that could happen today with like a human behind it. I mean, there's a higher risk there because it's harder to pinpoint, but it's the flip side is, you know, you think about it in that regards. I think about it from again, kind of going back to the privacy angle. Like, if I have, you know, health data on my phone and I go to order that Big Mac, my phone comes back to me and says, "Are you sure you want to order that?" You fat motherfucker.
I think I'd be more worried about the cyanide than the weight tip.
You got somebody that's trying to off you?
You said what?
I said what? You got somebody that's trying to off you every day?
I'm just saying, like, you don't know when you're connected.
True.
They listen, you know why they say bullets have no name? It's the same thing when it comes to the government. Mistaken identity happens all the time. And all the time it's not mistaken.
Right.
They know you didn't do it. You just the guy today.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to being able to do shit like that, it's all too easy.
I don't disagree with that.
Just like they said, once the drone pilots started coming in, they looked at it like a video game until they started realizing what they was doing.
Right.
Because it's all too easy at that point.
Yeah. I mean, but that's I don't know. In a lot of ways, that's been the military for a long time now. Is you're indoctrinated to the point where
we're pussy.
It's easier now because you don't have to go through the physical torment of seeing the faces of your victims. But I mean, honestly,
but I think
how is that any different than like dogfights, like World War I? Once you introduced machinery into warfare, there was less of having to understand the human casualty aspect.
I think we were better off with swords and shields.
I don't disagree.
I think we were better.
Someone's always trying to build. It would be a lot
harder to go to war. Motherfuckers wouldn't be so ready to go to war.
Over every little thing, if we had to go in with swords and shields.
Okay, let's armor up. Or let's all put on some 4-ounce octagon gloves and just go country for country. Like, what's popping?
Well, what happens when you've got AI drones going after AI drones, and it's just the fallout from those things that is causing the human casualties on the ground?
Well, that's what I think that's happening.
Yeah.
Or that's not happening, but
it's not that far off.
Right.
Because you know there is an AI out there right now running military simulations around the clock.
Stop it. It's not even about that. How many different land crafted space drones are flying in unmanned areas that can't be detected because they're not small or big enough, but they're fast enough.
Right. Well, this goes
they
back.
Can run with a jet, but they won't be detected because they're not big enough.
Right. Well, that's the
they're
whole thing with
them all day.
With UAVs, yeah, unmanned aerial vehicles. Like, they're about yay big. They carry enough ordnance to take out a city block, and that's what they do. Because otherwise, you'd be seeing countermeasures of other AI drones that could go find them in the sky and blow them out of the sky before they could deliver their payload.
Right.
Right now, very few countries have that ability. It's coming. And the next war will not be fought with boots on the ground. It'll be fought through technology, and it'll be fought through unmanned craft. And all it takes is for one glitch.
Go ahead, kick us off one time. Give me 2.5.
Actually, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back. And when we come back from the break, we're gonna jump into Cobra Kai. So if you haven't seen season 4 of Cobra Kai, come back when you have.
Right.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break.
All right.
And welcome back. All right.
He was waiting on me.
I was. Oh, man.
That motherfucker was double dutching, waiting to start the show. I didn't know you was waiting on me.
Oh, see, you're not even looking at the screen. I was doing my getting ready to jump in. Still not looking at the screen. Fuck you, dude. All right. So
I'm getting myself together. Business. Give me some time.
I meant to. I was hitting you with this one.
Mm-hmm. Said that motherfucker was double dutching.
Oh man.
All right, let's Cobra Kai it.
Cobra Kai. Well, actually, I do have one housekeeping item that I forgot. One A-Reg was sad that Uncle Cliff wasn't coming over tonight, and I was like, "It's okay, bud," because he missed last week, and then he was looking forward to it, and I'm like, "It's okay."
It's gonna be one more week.
I'm like, "It's okay." Uncle Cliff told me he wasn't gonna be here, but he wanted to say he loves you, all that good shit. Now wax on, wax off, motherfucker, and get in bed.
Right. You just be ready for your motherfucking crane kick when I get there. That's all I got to say about it.
Oh man,
you watched it with him?
He watched an episode with me, but that was about it.
Now I know you showed him the old ones because he'll watch that shit too, huh?
He might. I haven't shown it to him yet, but it's worth it a if nothing else to teach him that he needs to do his fucking chores because he'll learn karate.
He appreciates Goonies though.
He does. So he would probably dig it.
Right. If you can appreciate Goonies, I guarantee you would like Karate Kid more than you would like Cobra Kai.
No, that's fair.
Cobra Kai, and I'm not trying to down it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but we've done so many reviews on it by now.
Is it falling off for you?
It's not even that it's falling off for me. Cobra Kai is like in sync songs.
Yeah, it's popcorn.
It's like I hate that I like it. Like why am I watching this?
Because it went very like family drama. It continues to go more like family drama and like kind of teen comedy than it does like what it felt like in the first season, which was a little more like attached to the original story.
Yeah, the first season was more like lighthearted. It flowed with it. Yeah, we're starting to get more Degrassi.
I could see that.
And I don't know. I don't. They're filling shit in, right? It feels like they're just filling shit in because they don't know what to put in it. And
see, I don't know that I agree with that. Here's my take on it, and I'll circle back to yours. But
yeah,
I actually felt that this season felt a hell of a lot more grounded than the last two, which I liked. Like and maybe it wasn't even the last one, but the one before where they were like fighting in the school and like flipping off like over staircases and shit.
Right. Yeah, that was
like,
weird.
This one felt a little more grounded. Now, do I think some of it felt kind of forced? Like, I thought them bringing back Terry Silver and like his character arc was just fucking weird.
Well, I understood it.
Okay.
And I still understand it. In a way, it goes with what we talked about before.
Okay.
Because what's the dude's name? The main sensei?
Daniel? Or Johnny? Or Kreese?
Kreese. In a sense, Kreese was saying, let me cuck out and get help from the guy who has more than me. And that's always creating a monster, right?
It was, but that was actually what bothered me, right? Like, I'm kind of with you in that, like, he went for help, and then when he finally got the Terry Silver that, like, he was looking for, because Terry didn't want to be involved. Terry had softened over the years. He had become a success and that kind of shit. He was soft
from the jump. He was soft in the war. He was soft from the jump.
But I'm with you.
So
without the backstory, I hear you though. Like I'm thinking of him
in the actual movie. He was like you knew like he was like a dog. But then when they give you the backstory and you're supposed to buy back into him, it's like you're not nothing but a rich dude that has a little karate skill.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there.
You were in the war.
Right.
That might have, hardened you a little bit, but you weren't tough.
Right.
Then.
Well, and again, that was interesting that they went that angle with the backstory because his angle in Karate Kid 3 where he shows up is that like he was the one that started Cobra Kai and Kreese was like his second in command. It wasn't the other way around.
Right.
And so that's where I struggled with it a little bit because Kreese
he probably said, I'm not doing the fucking show unless you make me out to be the guy.
Right. Well, and that was the thing is that with Kreese,
because he is the more popular actor anyway.
Oh, absolutely. But so Kreese goes to him for help. Terry's reluctant. Terry finally buys in and kind of goes back to his old mentality, and then Kreese is like, "No, don't do it."
Right,
like that shit. That shit bothered me. Like, you got what you wanted, and now you
made the monster.
Right.
You made the monster.
Although
and he wasn't a bad monster. Even when he went overboard, it was all calculated.
It was very calculated.
So it was like that's what you asked for, right?
Well, and what's interesting is they seem to be trying to give everybody their redemption arc in all of this. Like the fact that
I can tell you what happens in 5.
Oh, it's got to be Terry's redemption arc, right?
Who's Terry?
Terry Silver.
Who's that?
The white-haired dude, the other sensei for Cobra Kai, not Kreese, because Kreese got his redemption.
No, that's not his
by
redemption.
Not.
It's not gonna be his redemption.
No, you don't think so? Well,
no, not at all.
Because you got Kreese's redemption at the end of this season, where he didn't tell her to cheat. Like he told her to back down or not cheat and just do it the right way. Meanwhile, Terry's like, no, you got to do this. You got to try to break the arm, all that shit or whatever.
I can tell you what happens.
All right, let's hear it.
This is going to be a long shot.
Let's go ahead. Somebody out there, go ahead and put it in the books.
Long shot, put it in the books. I seen it from a mile away, but I don't know if it's guaranteed, but I'm calling it out.
All right, let's
watch
hear it.
For the counter, y'all. First of all, before I give y'all the counter, I do want to say that this ended the exact way I wanted it to. I wanted what's his name? Daniel San. What's his last name?
LaRusso.
Russo. I wanted the LaRusso girl to get beat.
Yeah, I'm with you.
She was pissing me off the whole fucking season. I was just thinking, you fucking spoiled bitch. The whole season was just like, just stop it. Like, I get your beefing, but stop it for a second.
Right.
It just bothered me. Like,
you even saw the mom like get involved and then regret getting involved. Like, that's the thing. You never know what somebody's going through. You never know what someone's life is. Like, don't make people's lives harder.
And that's not exactly. It's not an excuse, but like you said, why make it harder? And the little girl was about that life. Like,
she was.
I'll come to your house. I'll come in your house.
I will fuck you up.
I'm not saying I have or have not, but I know what it feels like to be at that point.
I actually think that was one thing that they did really well this season was I thought all of the like main character kids had very good kind of like arcs throughout the season. And the fact that they finally started talking about Daniel's son too, because Daniel's son was just like fat comic relief for the first 3 seasons.
I didn't ever even really pay attention to him when he said LaRusso. It took a minute to click. Like, oh, that is
that's Anthony from the first couple of seasons, and that whole storyline bothered me a little bit too.
What?
Like
about him being the bully?
Him being the bully of It
made sense though.
I guess. And I mean, yes, it did. It just the storyline itself kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Although
because you got to think
I
about
did like it as it went along.
The whole reason why it made sense to me is because that's what your sister turned into.
Right. So your parents
your sister turned into that. So you, of course, whether that's opposite gender, you still look at her and say, that's what she
So can
does.
can I give you my inadvertent thought here?
Yeah.
This is my fear. I'm the one that grew up near east side of Columbus, ended up getting into private school, always felt like the outsider, always felt like I didn't belong with that group of folks, those types of people. This is the same thing I've talked about living in the neighborhood where we were living before I moved back to the hood. And that's my fear, is that I'm going to create that in my son the same way Daniel did with his kids. Like, well,
no,
I don't want to. I don't want to raise like a spoiled kid. I don't want to raise a bully.
That's when you're thinking Nordic, right? That's when you're thinking more cyclical.
Yeah.
Sick. You know what I'm saying?
Secular.
Right. Secular.
Circular.
Right. Is it sick? You know what I'm saying? But in this instance, it is very linear.
Yeah.
You're not at all exactly like your father.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, me, I have a lot of my father's traits, but if you put us side by side, like outside of looking at us, you would be like, they may be two different people.
They may be.
Maybe, because we still end up getting to that. Say, I don't know how we do it, because his math is different than mine, but
you still get to the same outcomes.
That's why we don't go. Well, you know what? That's why we should start going out more, because no issues ever happen when me and my dad go out.
Oh, no? I seem to remember you getting super glued with the bottle, cutting your face.
When me and my dad go out.
There were other people in a factor there. Right. Is that what you're saying?
It's me and my dad. We don't have issues with them. It's just me and Pops. We're good to go because we're on the same.
It's when you add other people to the mix.
Man. Because then I can't watch him and he can't watch me.
You. So you guys have no problem having each other's back until there's other factors in play.
Until we get distracted. We're like squirrels.
Squirrel.
We're like very aggressive. We're like pit bull squirrels. We're very capable until you throw a nut. And then we're like, which way did you see it? Go get it. And then nothing. We don't know what happened from then on.
Fair.
That's the best way.
I mean, honestly, that's why you and I were always fine going out together, because we would have different things, but I'd always keep an eye on things. I'd always have a side eye.
And you're always watching something
else. You ain't wrong.
I'm looking like, where look we at right now? Let me do coming through this. No.
I'm like, which way did she go?
Right.
Oh, telling on myself. All right. So circling back to Cobra Kai. Sorry.
No harm, no fouls.
But I'm with you. I also thought it was weird that. So, a lot of the back and forth between Daniel and Johnny kind of bothered me. Like, it was kind of like, okay, you knew that was good. You knew they were going to butt heads, but you thought they'd come together. And maybe that's actually why I didn't hate it, was because they didn't go like the route of, they were able to blend these styles perfectly after some hijinks
they were
in
going
the minute.
to, though.
I did
too.
It
would only make sense that you did. The reason why they didn't is because, like Daniel said in the end, I was pushing back. But Johnny was too. Don't get it twisted. He was too. But if they weren't both pushing back, they would have put together the perfect style. Now, here's my issue, right?
Was that the girl LaRusso figured that out and she was taking both styles?
No, because it still didn't. It goes to show that you still can't win.
Yeah.
You still can't win when someone is hungry and capable.
Yep. And I mean, the same thing happened to Robbie.
Was just capable.
Yeah.
Just capable. That what's the girl's name?
Terry.
She was hungry. Listen, my mom's dying.
Yeah.
I got a lot on my mind. I'm not here to play.
Well, and she even says it at one point, like her motivation is to basically prove that she's the best at something. Because she feels less than, because she feels othered, blah blah blah. Like, which I thought they did a good job developing her character throughout the season. Like,
right.
You turned on her. You turned to she did what in wrestling would be called a face turn.
I liked her through the whole thing.
I know you were always a fan of hers.
She created this monster. She wasn't trying to be that from the beginning.
No doubt. I thought it was a little weird with like Robbie's arc. That was a little weird for him.
He's just a weirdo. But I understand
like why they gave it to Hawk.
Because I understand that's what they do well about the show, right? Because I understand everybody's feelings. Like,
yeah, the character development
of you resonates with each person.
Yep.
But it's like they just take it to that's why I say Degrassi, because you take it to the extreme. It doesn't have to be that extreme.
I feel like they have in the past. But this season, again, I felt this season was.
They went to Degrassi?
I felt this season was very grounded versus, Miguel broke his back falling off of the fucking stairs or whatever,
right?
Or getting fucking kicked over the railing or whatever the fuck happened to him.
What about him faking the injury to go try to find his dad? That's pretty Degrassi.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give you that.
I'm gonna leave the tournament to go.
I thought
and
that
then
was
Robbie still didn't win it.
Right. I thought that was more about giving Hawk the opportunity than it was finding his dad. But
Hawk wasn't his boy like that.
He was before, wasn't he? I don't remember.
See, I'm a Sun Tzu kind of guy. I would have tried to pass it to Robbie. Like, I'd have tried to extend the olive branch to him to be like, now we double dragon this shit.
Right.
The double dragons was always white and that's why Kid and Ryu blind and Asian. I'm sure he's Japanese, but I don't want to, I don't know. In this line where we are, he could be.
Yeah, but Miguel's Mexican.
But what I'm saying is, you're the double. That's still double dragon complected.
Fair. The complexion's right, even if the race isn't. Is that what you're saying?
And the white boy. I said the white boy. What's his name?
Hawk.
No, the white boy.
Robbie.
Robbie. He's Filipino.
I mean, that makes sense. That tracks.
He's Filipino and white, I believe.
He does have that racially ambiguous feature.
he was on the Flagrant 2 with Andrew Schultz and them. That's
was he? Yeah, I know that's your jam. No, I mean, as somebody who's been in marketing again for a lot of his career, we love the racially ambiguous where you can't tell. So
right,
because everybody can see themselves in them. That's why if you're a mixed model, get out there and get your money, because especially like right now, that's still very big.
I like your market pushing right now.
So who do we have racially ambiguous in the net? I mean, Malcolm's pretty fucking yellow. He'd probably be racially ambiguous.
Listen, first of all,
is he out there? Is he out there?
Say that, I'm gonna tell you what I called him. I give him a nickname every week. Well, first, you need to tune in to this past episode. What is it, 89?
Okay, Wednesday show.
Minute 105.
Okay.
It ain't like you're in the stats too much because you don't be on enough shows.
That's true.
But we ran down all the pick'ems and all of the spreads. And I think you were in the spread a few times.
Okay.
But I don't know if you were in the pick'ems.
Fair. I haven't had a good track record in my pick'ems because I mean I am following the NFL more this year than I have in a long time. I still don't. I care about the Bills, and I'll pay attention to Cleveland and Cincy, but that's about it.
Oh, but we're doing the that's what you weren't involved with, and we're not taking this over like that. But we're doing a bracket.
Okay, like a playoff bracket.
After regular season, pick'em's over, then we're doing a bracket like to reset it. So everybody.
Well, you already know who's going all the way and winning it all, right?
Mm-hmm, we'll see.
Josh Allen and the Bills, baby. Raid the Capitol, let's go.
But Malcolm, he is the State Farm stunt double
of the new State Farm guy, the new Jake from State
Farm stunt double. That is his brother. I swear on everything I love. I look at him every time I see him, and I say, "That's
Malcolm State Farm
Malcolm
King."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that young yellow bastard. All right.
Listen.
I love him.
That's my guy.
He must have dropped off because I don't see him in the chat.
Yeah, that's my guy.
Either that or he's trying to think of something witty to come back with.
He need to add himself in. He got the shit.
He does. I mean, we do have like the link and everything is out there for.
Yeah,
we still take call-ins on the show.
He ain't gotta talk through the chat.
That's exactly what he's doing right now. He's going to find his mic and his headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Listen here, you motherfuckers. He might be the new. He might be the Prince of Foolproof, man. He might be the Prince.
You think he the Prince?
You and I are the twin emperors.
Listen, you got them right, too. The evil and the good, right. And you the good one.
Oh, am I? Cool.
All right, I meant the evil one. God damn it. Did I tell him myself? God damn, I meant the opposite. I'm dyslexic.
Speaking of good and evil.
No, I'm the good one.
This is my tattoo for next week. So, getting the left arm done. And right. it is somewhat, it's kind of like a yin and yang symbol. But it's Star Wars themed because I'm a nerd.
Let's get a tat. Let's get a matching tat.
I'm down. Fuck it. As long as
let's get a brother's tat. My brother's keeper tat.
I'm down.
Not after. Well, I mean,
after this one, but right. Yeah. But so it's basically a yin and yang symbol. It is the Prime Jedi lightsaber, all that cool stuff with like a yin and yang background. And
what's the Prime vibe? What?
It's basically a Jedi just kind of kneeled with the lightsaber. And the light and the dark behind him, and the
not
philosophy.
Like a suit or anything. Just
no, it looks like
a regular person.
Yeah, it just looks like a monk, in monk robes.
Okay.
And what I like about it is, and we've talked about this a lot in terms of like the balance of the universe, frequencies, vibrations, that kind of thing, is you have to have both the light and the dark. And so when you talk about me being evil, you have to have a little evil.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Otherwise, you don't survive.
The evil one. I'm just the aggressive one, but I don't even think I come across as evil.
No, I don't think you do. I mean, I'm the white guy. I'm clearly the evil one. Come on now.
Stop it. Now I give a lot of white folks a lot of hell, and I will continue to until the day this podcast ends. But I won't just say that just because you white, you evil. That ain't how that work. I done met a lot of evil, Black, Mexican, white, Jewish. I don't give a fuck if we talking anti-Semitism. Motherfucker, I went to St. Catherine's. I met Jewish. There was Jewish motherfuckers all around. And there were evil Jews too. Am I lying?
It's true.
You're all not good.
Not
so
everybody's.
Stop it.
There is no race out there that is completely good or completely
evil. And I don't
evil.
care how that comes off. It's the truth, bitches.
I was kidding.
No, I wasn't.
Oh shit! Here we go again.
That's more like it.
I have been dropping on the soundbite game. I'm gonna try to get back into it.
Nah, you good. Yeah, we gonna have to renew some of them for the season.
For
You
what?
wrong as fuck.
What?
You should have gave me at least a week's notice for we knew that it was
Before it was a season premiere. I mean, it's the year change,
that's what
man.
the New Year is.
I thought
New Year episode is, huh?
Yeah, it is.
The New Year episode is the week before. Reminder.
But we.
Listen, all the marketing experience and years of college that you went through. Clearly.
That English minor helps me out sometimes.
All that.
That and sex. That's about it.
Yeah, it just says all that. Yeah, it just says
well,
all
at least
that
it posted. That's the important part.
But that ain't what I meant to post. It's all right.
It's all right. We'll get better.
Fuck the Russos.
Agreed. All right. Sorry, we didn't circle back. So what the fuck is happening in season 5?
So you seen that LaRusso called for his ex-nemesis from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we all know that the karate Mr. Miyagi taught in Japan and taught in America were two different things.
You don't get the full breadth of it. Yes. I think you're right.
So basically what I'm getting by that is that you're downplaying what you think Mr. Miyagi taught to the dude from Japan.
Right.
Okay. So my whole thing about this is when it comes down in my mind to Scarface in Cuba.
Okay.
You know what I mean? At some point you got to do things to change to get to where you need to go. And the vibe that I got from well, let me stop, right? Because you never knew that Mr. Miyagi was that deep into that boy until this show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of course, you knew that they knew each other.
Right.
And of course, that led you to believe they trained with each other.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that he was his sensei.
No, his brother was.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, because it's either, I think it's his brother. It's either his brother or because it's his brother who is the uncle to the guy that shows up at the end of season 4. Because that's how he refers to him. He's like, uncle. Like I distinctly remember that in Karate Kid 2, where he keeps calling the Miyagi's brother uncle. So
that would make sense then. That would make sense. So it makes sense that no, it wouldn't make sense.
No, it does, because remember the lesson that they taught in that, and it's the lesson that Sam LaRusso learns, is that it becomes your own. And so, of course, Mr. Miyagi's karate versus his brother's karate, even though they both learned the same starting point, they adapted in different ways. And so what they passed down to Daniel, and I wish I could remember the bad guy's name from Karate Kid 2, was it's going to be similar but different.
I think there's one thing that you're missing.
Okay.
And I think the one thing that you're missing is the fact that, well, let's first put it like this. Let's put it like this. When Daniel came to Japan and he was challenged, the initial fight was to the death.
Right.
Which lets you know that they were very, what's the word I'm looking for? Comfortable with people fighting that way.
Right.
Which meant that if Mr. Miyagi trained that young boy, he trained him very differently than he trained Daniel, because this is to the death.
Right.
Which is why he got him with and paralyzed his arm, because Mr. Miyagi's showing him something to save his life.
Right.
Where he's showing Daniel something to calm his nerves, because Daniel was an aggressive kid.
Yeah. He was
so what I
Yep.
Go ahead. What was you about to say?
No, I was just gonna say Daniel in Karate Kid 1 is very,
his head wasn't right.
Right. He's not
Now,
centered. He's not.
If you're fighting there and your brother, like you said, is the one who trains you, that's almost like my dad training me. You're gonna get thrown to the wolves.
Yep.
So if you don't learn quick, it's gonna be a problem. Which is why I say I know it's gonna happen in season 5, right? Because you brought this man here and you didn't do well with Johnny.
Right.
Johnny wasn't aggressive. He was just offensive. This man is training to hit where the kill's at.
Right.
So what I think's going to happen is you're going to see Johnny team back up with Daniel and this Asian dude go with Kreese in them.
You think that's what'll happen? Okay.
Correct. And then it's going to be a more, like now, and then what's going to happen then is you're going to see Robbie go back with Daniel, and you're going to see the young aggressive girl go back with Caruso and them, because she feels like she owes them because she helped her out. She won the tournament. Now I have loyalty to the people that I didn't really like.
Right. I can see.
And then it's going to be the rough, like the real, like we're trying to take you out, like some new cast.
Well, and I wonder if that's the play, if that's how they're going to up the ante, because like we've been through 2 tournaments, just 2, right? This was the second tournament, or is this the third? I know we've been through 4 seasons, but we've only been through 2 tournaments, I think.
Yeah.
Are these kids, and I can't remember, was this their senior prom or was it junior prom? Like, are we moving out of high school now and moving into, like, okay, they can't compete in the under 18. Does this shit get a little more real, and is it, like, true, like, fight sport, combat sport, or is it, or to your point, does it get to being something that, like, we end the season with Robbie and somebody, like, in a street fight, like, fighting to the death kind of thing?
No, I don't think it's going to be.
You don't think they'll go that deep?
It's going to be a situation where you see Robbie come back and get hurt and not be able to compete, and then you see Miguel come back off the plane like, like, I'm ready. I've been training. And then they dap up in that friendship that, and you see
the old what is it? It's from Predator with is it Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger who do the forearm grip, and you just see the bicep. Kobe, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's gonna be.
Well, to that point, then they need to introduce some new cast, because I don't know who's coming in that poses a threat.
It's gonna be a new cast. It's definitely not the little black boy.
No,
they did him so wrong.
I thought so too. Like, I think that was what bothered me with that, because like his turn it's intense.
And Robbie was telling him right, like the way he was training him, like use your speed, but he fit better with Daniel.
Oh, completely agree.
With the Caruso.
But I think that La Russo. But yes, I think that's what
is it?
Yeah. I think that's what.
What I say, Claruso?
Yeah, or that's Caruso.
That's Blossom.
Yeah.
That's Joey.
Oh,
I
man.
feel like Joey.
Whoa. They did that intentionally, and I think it was to show the power of Cobra Kai, to like they can warp people's minds. But I'm with you. Like, his natural fit was with Miyagi, but I also think that that's what this show does a good job of.
I wasn't even thinking
is not put you in
his
like Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just
going
gonna say, like, I think that's what the show does well is that it doesn't give you exactly what you think it's gonna happen. Like they do throw those little swerves, but they're not like outrageous swerves, and that's what I appreciate. When I say the show is grounded, especially this season, I felt it was more grounded. Like it was again, it's that stair step. It's that stair step character development versus like jumping the shark and saying Robbie went off on his own and won the tournament. Or
I know what you mean.
So
I know exactly what you mean. I just feel like, well, first and foremost, from the little homie, the little black dude, I wasn't even thinking from mannerism wise, go with LaRusso.
Yeah.
That would make you softer. And you don't need to be softer. I that wasn't what I was meaning.
A little
like
aggression.
You need the Cobra Kai, but what Robbie was teaching you is correct. If he would have learned LaRusso karate with your speed, learn to defend, counter, and you're unstoppable. You don't gotta knock nobody down. You just gotta get a point, bro.
Right. We're just talking.
So just play like that. You already did it. Every time somebody ran, you took steps back.
Yeah.
That's defense. That's not running. That's defense. They just didn't train you right to know how to run correctly.
Yeah. Yep.
Run.
And Robbie
counter,
tried.
defend.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And he would have beat the shit out of Robbie if somebody would have showed him, because Robbie was being aggressive with him.
Yeah.
And he was still keeping up. You just didn't know what to do when someone was being aggressive like that, because all they teach you there is aggression.
Right.
But if you'd have learned stop, calm, cool, take your breaths, there it is, opening.
That might be one that might
everything.
That might be one that switches sides. He might end up switching sides.
He's gonna switch too. You're gonna see a lot of people switch, and you're gonna see a whole new squad.
Yeah, they have to. They've got to introduce new characters.
I guarantee you. Matter of fact, I didn't even think this far ahead. This is what's gonna happen. I'm giving the play call for next season. Cuz come with people from Japan.
Okay. I can see that.
And they don't work with LaRusso's camp. And that's what they end up going over there.
They end up falling there. I could see that.
That would make the best sense from a writing standpoint.
I think the only thing that
killers from Japan, now you got to fight killers in LA.
Right. I think the only thing that I hesitate with there is that I do think the LaRusso family stays front and center. So maybe Sam and Robbie start to fade away, and it's more about Anthony. Maybe Anthony gets involved, the son.
I don't think so.
Or the son ends up at Cobra Kai.
Ready. Even if he's at Cobra Kai, he's not ready. And the only way that makes a dramatic play in the season is if you speed it up to where there's another tournament and he gets hurt in it by someone.
Okay. I hear your logic.
Because he's not good enough to fight outside at this point.
Right.
Because he's the kid that never got trained.
True. All right.
You know what I mean?
No, I hear you.
So how do you bring him in? Fuck college. Give me a job. I connect dots, baby.
What do you mean college? I thought we were talking the cartel.
Listen, the cartel don't do well with words, and that's what I work with. I might have to learn Spanish.
There you go. All right, man. We just crossed the 2-hour mark. What else you got?
Did we?
You got anything? This was a good topic or a good. All right,
I got one thing.
Can I rewind real quick before I close out the Cobra Kai conversation?
Yes, of course.
How many mugs? How many mugs you give the season?
It's crazy, right? Because it's like almost reminds me of like hit the showers, like giving your guess on what team's gonna win. Because I can't judge with my heart.
Okay.
I have to judge with the facts,
the logic,
and everything. And the logic and the facts are I watched that whole season
in 2 days.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Like damn near all the way through in one night. Like I probably had 2 more episodes left the following day. So even though I feel like it's an NSYNC song where it's like I can't stand, I like it, I must clearly like it.
Ba, 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 ba.
Listen, that's what I'm getting. That's what it's like. Why you like that song? But you do. You'll sing it if you hear it.
It's true.
So yeah, no, I gotta give Cobra Kai 3.8 mugs.
3.8 mugs. I'm gonna go the full 4. I'll go full
4?
Full 4. Four
Okay.
mugs for season 4.
Ooh.
And a lot of that just stems from the fact that I thought it got back to being grounded, and I felt like the last 2 seasons were a little over the top for me. And so the fact that it felt more grounded, and I thought they did a great job developing characters. I liked where everybody ended up, except I struggled a little bit with like Kreese and his turn, but I do appreciate the redemption angle arc that they seem to be giving every character along the way here.
Right.
So.
Right.
All right, so that's 4 for me, 3.8 for you. All right, what's your last thought to kind of take us out?
Okay, so Malcolm's gonna want to hear this.
No word in the chat.
He didn't have to, but
we'll clip it out and send it to him.
Listen, and this is something that. Congratulations to the Eagles for making the playoffs. Now, what I will say is I did not look back through my books, but I do know that I don't believe I predicted the Eagles to win any more than 6 games.
That sounds about right. I think we all said under 500.
I think it might have even been 5, I might have said. I know Britt gave the lowest, but I think I either might have said 5 or 6. But what I'm saying is they made the playoffs, and not only did Devontae Smith prove me wrong with being small and still doing his thing, but Jalen Hurts did as well. So what I'm going to say to Malcolm is if his Eagles make it to the second round of the playoffs, I will write my first sports publishing article about my experience with the Eagles this year.
There you go.
And I'll put it out.
All right. I like it. Get you set up with a little WordPress.
Right. That's what I'll put my words to paper instead of podcast.
Okay. I like it. Well done. All right, man. I will echo the statement I made at the beginning of the show. In lieu of like a happy birthday on Facebook or any of that shit, do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. The YouTube page, the Facebook page, the podcast out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that shit. Do us a favor. Subscribe. You know, even if you're not listening every week and you just catch it every here and there, it works, man. It helps us out, and it starts to get it out there in terms of us being able to maybe do something other than the Anchor ads. Sure does. So that's how I'll kind of close this out. Last words, Cliff?
My only last words to you is I'm with you, right?
Yes, sir.
I'm with you. Right hand. And I understand that this is not a fucking sprint, Joe. This is a marathon. So it's going to take a lot longer than a lot of people expect for it to take, but it is going to take.
It will. And I mean,
that's a fact.
The first 2 years we said were about developing the content and getting a library. And now we can start focusing on some of the other things.
So all I'm saying is I love you. I love y'all. Like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And we about to kick off season 3 in this bitch. I didn't even know today was. We gonna get real hype for this season 3. I promise you that.
Let's do it. And again, you want to come on the show? Hit us up. You got an idea for a podcast? Hit us up. End of the day, what we're trying to do is build a regional network of podcasts. And that means that we're looking for guests. We're looking for people that are active in the community. We're looking for small business owners, anybody that's interested. Come on, tell us about what you're doing, and we'll do a little bit of Facebook, social media sharing between the audiences, and we'll go from there. And on top of that, we would love to get additional voices on the network. And so if you're interested, if you've always been like, oh, I've got a great idea for a podcast, or shit, I heard somebody tell me the other day, like, me and my girlfriend have like the best conversations ever. We should record it like you two are. Yeah, do it.
Why not?
And we can help you get it going. So hit us up, Foolproof Entertainment Network, or foolproofentertainment@gmail.com, or find us on social media at FoolproofNet or at The Geeky Coach, and let's get it going. Peace out, fools.
Listen, and if you talk sports and that's all you want to talk, hit the showers podcast at gmail.com.
There you go. Is that a real email address?
Yeah, I just got shit popping.
All right, man. All right. Peace out, fools.